Blessings. We are back with another astrological analysis. The date today is November the 21st, 2024. Pluto is officially in Aquarius, beautiful people. Pluto is officially in Aquarius. All right, so I just have three things I want to speak on about three different placements. Those are going to be Jupiter in Gemini, Venus in Aquarius, and Saturn in Pisces. And of course, I might, speak on other things that I see. I do have some things written down here, but I might freestyle if I do see some things that I feel that are notable. All right, so let's just get straight into it. First, Jupiter and Gemini. So we're going to continue to hear about trials on television. Jupiter is in this transiting the seventh house and is retrograding. The seventh house is ruled by Libra. All right, its natural ruler is Libra. Libra, the seventh house represents court cases, contracts, justice system, amongst other things. Jupiter being there in the sign of Gemini, emphasizing court cases being on television, Gemini representing television. That's something that you're going to continue to hear about. And with Jupiter being at the 18th degree, so close to Mars at the 21st degree, you can start to hear about foreign contracts, foreign like war crimes, um, that type of thing. And with Jupiter up, let me see. Right now, Mercury is at the 21st degree in Sagittarius. So Jupiter is opposing um, Mercury at the 21st degree in Sagittarius. And this is the a reason that you are hearing about the US missile crisis in Russia, because Jupiter conjunct Mars at the 21st degree, Mars representing the missiles, 21st degree representing foreign entities, and Gemini, right? Gemini can also represent like missiles, like guided missiles, because Gemini is like engines, like motor engines, like intelligent equipment. And with Jupiter being the natural ruler of, you know, Pisces and Sagittarius, and you have Mercury that is retrograding in Sagittarius against his ruler, then yeah, this would definitely bring in like you know, um, those foreign war talks. Like, but with Mercury here, Mercury is more about just like representation in the media, um, like more so like engines. So with this foreign with this foreign aspect here, one thing that I have written down is you can start to hear about um, like recalls with, like, I won't say Mercedes, but mm, like foreign car companies, like some type of recalls that while Jupiter is at the 18th degree could bring about, fatality by car accident. Try to find a way to intellectually maneuver around that wordplay right there. But with Jupiter squaring Neptune, you can start to hear more about like Hollywood botch surgeries. So surgeries going wrong in Hollywood, death by auto accidents, Hollywood sex scandals, especially by prostitutes, because you have Jupiter that's squaring Lilith here in the 10th house, and Lilith is conjunct Mercury, Neptune rather. And so, yeah, that definitely could bring about health issues that are related to, um, these pharmaceutical like drug companies in Hollywood. Neptune also represents like drugs as well. And it's in Virgo, so Virgo could represent like the health field, medical. So yeah, um, especially when it's around like let's see. Lilith is in the a Saturn degree. So yeah, especially when it's around like older men. Okay, what else do I have here? Things can get messy when Mercury gets to the 22nd degree. That's something to look out for. Um, hopefully not, but we'll see, especially when it comes to the foreign car aspect. Um, if you have any type of foreign car, make sure that you don't have any recalls. The next thing I want to talk about is Venus in Aquarius. So when Venus moves over to Aquarius, um, around the end of the first week in December, moving forward until Venus moves into Pisces, you're going to start to hear about more about like love and robots. Like I believe that there was a tweet that was recently done by Kim Kardashian, um, where she was showing like her holding hands with a Tesla bot. So when you have Venus here, right now Venus is in Capricorn. So since Venus is in Capricorn and it's at the 12th degree, and it's opposing the sun and it's opposing uh, Jupiter in the eighth house. And the Cancer here represents like birth, like new systems of birth coming into play, like the psychology of birth changing. The eighth house also represents like psychology. The eighth house represents like sexual parts since it's ruled by Cancer here. And then you have the moon in Aquarius. So the ruler of the eighth is in the third in Aquarius. So it's really bringing more of, and the moon is at the 27th degree, which is a Gemini degree in the house of Gemini. So it's really bringing about this artificial intelligent womb, like death, like the birth rate going down and people more talking about like artificial carriers, especially when Venus enters into the third house and when Venus gets into the 20th degrees and higher. It's going to be continue to be a theme um, when Venus moves over to, let me see, into the sixth house and it squares the moon. All right. You're going to hear about religious sectors speaking out about, like this blasphemy, with artificial intelligence and, love and humans. And so I would look for religious sectors to speak out about that. Um, AI banking, like crypto meets artificial intelligence. So something with AI banking, especially when Venus gets over here into like the 23rd to 20 seventh degree, something about um like smart homes, AI banking, um, like really changing the way that people bank, changing the way that people talk about money, and really be like crypto focused, really have a way for people to be more secure and to watch their own money. Because you see here, Pallas Athena at the 26th degree. The 26th degree speaks about like money, like, but more so you watching your money, more so when you talk about money, like making sure your facts are correct. And, it talks since it's in the sign of Aquarius in the third house, it's more so about like the way that you talk about money in your communities, like group shared, like I won't say like open source money, but in a way where the power of money goes back into the hands and the people, especially, we're talking about bringing Venus over here into the third house, like bringing the power of money back into the hands of the people. Um, and when you see, that's going to be here. So yeah, and I would expect a rapid change when Venus squares Uranus here, like old systems of money just being broken down. Because you have Uranus in Gemini at the eighth degree, you know. The eighth degree is like that's Pluto. That's again, that's psychology. The seventh house, like contracts. That's like the way that old systems, like thought systems being broken down and refurbished again. The eighth degree bringing about the restructuring, rebirthing of these older systems at a rapid pace. You know, that's going to leave little room for questioning, just like something that would happen. Especially, let me see, we got Palace at the 26th degree. Okay, so another thing I want to say here is when Venus gets around the 23rd to 29th degree is when you can potentially hear about smart money systems. Okay, so that's something I just talked about, just making sure I'm going over all my notes. But let me see something else that I see here that's going to be a transit that can happen probably when you're watching this video, or maybe something that's upcoming is continue to watch. So this is an interrupted cycle that really doesn't happen that often when you have Neptune and uh, Saturn in the same sign, like interception, so this doesn't happen often. So when they both move, and the chart that I'm looking at here is for the United States. So when Saturn and Neptune both move over into Aries, that's going to be in the house of creativity, bringing about a Renaissance era, bringing about new music. So I want to say around spring of July, you're just going to have people being so bored of the old music trends, being bored of the way the music has been. Music is going to seem so like dreamy, so like it's going to be putting people to sleep. Especially if people aren't getting like their spring hits. So Neptune here, people are already starting to feel a little bit of that, I want to say. So when Neptune goes direct and when it's, moving closer to Aries, around like spring, you're going to have people really just looking towards like new forms of music, like new creativity. And that's going to be Neptune making a transit into Aries, into the fifth house. And the fifth house is about play, creativity. It's about sex. It's about pleasure. It's about youthfulness. So having Neptune here, Neptune representing music, Neptune representing Hollywood, it's just going to be a rebirthing of Hollywood, like a rebirthing of music itself. And the ruler of the fifth is in the eighth at the 13th degree. So again, the 13th degree is Aries, like that rebirthing energy. And in the eighth house, that's that Phoenix energy. And since it's in the eighth house, is really going to, like, people are going to be emotionally tied to it so much that it's going to bring about a rebirthing because the sun is in the Pluto decan. So again, the Pluto decan in the eighth house, just that's just like the systems of music being broken down so that it can be reborn again, like completely new forms of music, right? And if you look at, so the sun is in the eighth, and the ruler of the eighth, again, like I said, is in the third in Aquarius. So this is going to have a lot to do with artificial intelligence. artificial intelligence. And when Saturn gets here, Saturn being so close on the tail of Neptune, and when they conjunct, that's going to be the the boiling point when the old system, Saturn representing the old systems of music, because Saturn's going to be so close to Neptune, being broken down so that they can be reborn again. What else do I have here? Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces. While Saturn is still in Pisces now that Kronos is direct, old food name brands being exposed and some even going bankrupt. Not saying bankrupt is a bad thing because Walt Disney, I think, was bankrupt. Please correct me if I'm misquoting this. Donald Trump was bankrupt. Um, yeah, so many people went bankrupt. 50 Cent went bankrupt. So I don't speak down on anybody that went bankrupt. You want to hear about changing up LGBT laws, and this can include pregnancy and adoption while Saturn is still in Pisces, especially while Saturn, you see Saturn is at the 12th degree. So while Saturn is squaring Uranus, this is really going to affect the LGBTQ community, especially when it comes to sexual organs, sexual transgenders, those type of things really being structured like prohibited, like restricted in a way. Especially Saturn being in the fourth house. Fourth house represents like family. Saturn is so close to Ceres here. Ceres is at the eighth degree. Ceres represents like caregiving, nurturing, like food is at the eighth degree. That's like um, the psychology of food, the psychology of like birth itself, like care systems, like nurture, kindergarten, like daycares, like all of those systems just being restructured in a way to where more care is being given to them. Food industry continue to be exposed and remodeled. This represents America as its citizens. You know, America. What else? What else? What else? So with Mars in the ninth house, so one thing that's interesting about Mars, um, or Leo here in the ninth house in America's chart is that Donald Trump has his sun at the 29th degree. So his sun sits right here on in the synastry chart with America, which is why in a way he leads with Jesus. Like this, the 29th degree is the sun represents Jesus, and the ninth house is religion, and it's Leo is representing the sun, religion, in the ninth house. So leading with Jesus, like big Christianity, like lead, especially if Donald Trump actually stays in office, and when like next summer it's going to be a huge Jesus movement when the sun gets into Leo. Push for Jesus. Even with Mars being in Leo, just a real focus on religion, real focused on, spirituality. Like you have Mars that is, let me see. I see. So I want to say when Mars gets to about the 20th degree in Leo, is going to be it's hard to give like precise things, but I can give you themes. Sometimes I try to be precise and on the money with it. But since Mars is going to be in Leo and it's going to be opposing Pluto in the second house, and Pluto being at the 27th degree, that's a Gemini degree, and Capricorn and a Mercury deacon, that in itself um, speaks about the psychology of education, like school, like not like graduate school or college. So like high school, um, middle school, elementary school. So like older, like those type of systems being restructured, rebirth, because the 27 degree, like I said, is a Gemini degree representing education. Um, and Pluto here being like the rebirthing, Capricorn being older systems. So it can be funding to elementary school systems, especially with, Pluto natally opposing Mercury in Cancer. So yeah. So you have um, if you I'm sorry, if you have Mars that is opposing, yeah, that's right. So Mars won't be opposing Pluto for too much longer, but those are some things to look out for while it is happening. So, I mean, I think for right now, I'm going to come back and speak about Jupiter in Cancer. When Jupiter gets into Cancer, you're definitely going to hear more about America, like home, like land, that like being restructured, like people being able to buy land, like that's going to be like different. I definitely foresee a time when each state is more like a country, more like a district, where like the governor has more like presidential powers for each like state, more like what Texas is trying to do. So each state becoming like that. And you could hear about that when Jupiter gets into the eighth house, because Cancer definitely represents like land, especially like land that's close to water. Like the fourth house, it would represent like family land, but since it's like, America, so it affects its citizens. And you have the thing that's going to add to that here is you got Venus at the third degree. So Venus represents like real estate, land. Yeah, man. You're going to definitely hear more about abortion laws, a pregnancy, a lot about artificial intelligence and birthing, again, with the ruler of the eighth being in the third in Aquarius. So um, there was something like Ectolife, I think, is a company that came out about artificial wombs. Like, just man, just something that's something to continue to look out for. And before I let you go, like some other things I want to add to Pluto and Aquarius is going to be not only are there going to be like online sex brothels, like virtual reality sex brothels, but just people talking about sex all the time online, like Pornhub being switched over to like virtual reality, and like men, there's that something about the testosterone levels going down, or something with men becoming more addicted to artificial love and not seeking out real love. Like, why seek out a real partner when I could put on a VR headset and a haptic suit and have sex, with like a real VR person and it feel real. So you're going to have men and women both, being stimulated by this. Like imagine like you have a remote control, but the remote control is an insert um, stick for women that vibrates, you know, and the it's connected to the haptic suit. So it's like a vibrator for women, but connected to like a video game. And it'd be like a suction cup for men connected to a video game. So like those type of things, like not even being science fiction, like actually truly happening. Um, Sex hotels, you know, like sex hotels is going to be a big thing. Like you just going to a sex hotel and just getting your pleasure fulfilled, by AI and then leaving. Pleasure hotels, like anything you want, you can go in, have your pleasure just fulfilled by AI. Um, I think this was in a movie before. I just can't. I think it was something that came out when we were younger. It's something that's trying to come in my head. Maybe with Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. I just can't remember. Um, Cults, like man, people just committing mass unaliving ceremonies and cults. Um, Again, like people begin being scared to fly, like a lot of drive-bys, like mass shootings can definitely move to like automobiles where people are just like shooting from automobiles or using drones to like strike a lot of people. So like people being in crowds being struck, just by like drone gunfire, drone bombs. So that being like the new way of taking people out instead of like mass shootings, because drones are like a little bit more anonymous, harder to track. So that's something to look out for. Um, I mean, I can speak on Pluto and Aquarius for, I mean, themes and themes forever, like black automobiles, like people moving to like bigger trucks, like armor guard looking trucks that are all black with spikes, like that type of thing. Like, what's that film? Yeah, the film with Charlize Theron. I can't remember right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about. That's how shared consciousness works. But anyway, let me stop going off topic. So, yeah, these are just a few things that I want to share with you, speak about today. Again, people, if you like this video, please do me a favor and hit the like button. If you made it this far, just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And if you know somebody that you know that will be interested in this type of content, go ahead and share with them because you're really helping to like the like, the share, and the comment, even really does help the algorithm. It helps this channel and helps me to continue to spend time on this content for you. All right. So I appreciate you being here. I hope that you take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Peace.